All right, so here are the solutions to the 3-4 applications part of the homework. So this is the equation that we've been looking at throughout the lesson, and it's modeling the cost of a cab ride C in terms of miles traveled M. And question 1 says, what does the inequality 5.1 plus 2.6 M less than or equal to 20 represent in the scenario? And basically what it's wanting to know is when the cost cannot be more than $20. Right? So how many miles can you travel so that you're not spending more than $20? Go ahead and solve this inequality. So we have to subtract 5.1 from both sides first, and then divide by 2.6, which gives you an answer of M is less than or equal to 5.73, and so on. So 3, what does this describe? What does this describe? Write a sentence describing what your solution tells us. It says they need to travel less than or equal to 5.7 miles in order to not spend more than $20. Explain why an inequality is a more natural choice than an equation for the situation. Well, that's because they can spend any amount of money that's less than 20. So like they could spend $19, they could spend $18. So an equation is when if they wanted to know how many miles, so they spend exactly $20, that's when you would use an equation. But it's just wanting to know when they can spend less than or equal to 20. That's why inequality is better. Right, and then number 5, we're looking at a different problem here. So it says, suppose you're running some errands for your boss, and she says, I imagine you'll need to spend at least $30 for cab fare. Don't spend more than $50 though. Rate an inequality that matches its conditions. So basically what this is saying is the boss is saying that the distance that the cab's going to travel, she's going to have to spend at least $30. So that means that it's going to include $30. But she can't spend more than 50. So it's okay if she spends 50, she just can't spend more than 50. So 30 is going to be my minimum, 50 is going to be my maximum, and I am taking 5.1 plus 2.6 M, that's the equation that we came up with from above. I'm putting that in the middle. And then to solve it, we're going to subtract 5.1 from both 30 and 50. And then you're going to divide both of those answers by 2.6, which means that she's going to have to travel anywhere between 9.58 miles and 17.27 miles. All right, so that's the answer for that. All right, moving on to the next page. Question number 8. Suppose you have a maximum of $50 to spend on a cab fare, but you need to make it round trip, okay, both to and from a certain location. Which would best describe the situation? So the thing is they have $50. That's the most that they have. So $50 is going to have to still be what we're going to put for the cost, right? 2 times 50 would mean that they have $100, which doesn't make sense because they don't have 100. They only have 50 to go 2 times. So we're going to take, I need to do 2 trips multiplied by the fare has to be less than $50, which is why I chose this. Okay, solve this inequality. There's a couple ways you can go about doing it, but the way I did is I distributed the 2 into both. So 2 times 5.1 is 10.2. 2 times 2.6 is 5.2x. And then I solved it. So I subtracted 10.2 from both sides, got 39.8. And then I divided that by 5.2 to get 7.65. And what does it mean? It means that each way must be less than 7.65 miles because she's traveling 2 directions. So we have to keep that in terms. So each way must be less than that. Okay. And then in the last question, question number 10, it says in lesson 3.1, we study the depreciation and the value of a car, and we have this equation. Value is equal to 15,000, take away 2,000 times time, the number of years. The owner decides he'll hang onto it until it's worth, he'll hang onto it at least until it's worth less than $2,000. Okay, rate an inequality that describes how long he'll keep the vehicle. So that means that he only wants to hang on to it. Once it hits $2,000, he doesn't want that car anymore. So if that car's worth $1,000, he does not want that car anymore. He only wants the car if it's worth more than $2,000. So $2,000 in 1, $2,000 in 2, and so on. So 2,000 has to be our smallest value. So 2,000 is less than 15,000 minus 2,000t, and I solve this equation, or this inequality. So 2,000 minus 15,000 is negative 13,000, divided by negative 2,000 gave me 6.5 is greater than t. Now, note, I switched the inequality. So it was originally less than, I switched it to a greater than because we divided by a negative number. Okay, and what does it mean? It means that he's going to keep his car for less than 6.5 years. All right, moving on to prep skills. I have 1 and 2 Okay, these are the equation or expressions that you should have chosen. And then 3 was an equation asking you to write. For 4, 5, I have detailed right here of how I solved the problems. And then question number 6, my answers are over here on this side. So if you have any questions on these, please let me know. And just remember that this homework, checking your homework right now, so make sure that you are working on 3-5. And if you have any questions, please stop in and let me know.